Hello, this is going to be an Eden Zero's manga review, doing chapter 91 to 96. And yeah, I've not done it in a while, so I'll try to do a bulk one. And I'll probably just do a summary of how I felt about each chapter and how it goes. So I'm quite enjoying these analysis series, because they're quite comical and they're funny in some of them are quite funny, and I just like having a spotlight on each of the characters. It makes them more it gives them more development and also makes them more memorable because you see them and they get a spotlight, and some of the lesser characters. So in 91 we get a spotlight of Pino, and yeah, she's got some pretty stuff, and she got rabbit 3 stars, so that's pretty cool to see as well. And so this chapter is mostly the fight between Homura versus the wind element 4 anyway. And it's kind of funny that they ended up in this the strip bar is where they're fighting. I mean, the pole dancing bar is when they end up fighting. So it's kind of comical, a comical place to even get a fight in the first place anyway. And we go back to the main gang and we see that they're with Sabir again, and this is the very first time they met him. And we learn something even crazier. So back then, Weiss stole money from a person called DJ Zombie, and we're all wondering who this DJ Zombie is. But when we find out who this DJ Zombie is, it's pretty crazy anyway. Hmm. So yeah, so it turns out this DJ Zombie, he was a pretty big deal, and so he's been around for quite a while, and he's the reason why Weiss doesn't have a right arm anyway. So he's got a robotic arm in the first place. So him and DJ Zombie do have some, what do you call it, beef going on anyway. Hmm. And what's more is we learned that his name is Kraken Joe, so that was pretty crazy. So isn't that crazy to hear anyway? So Kraken Joe, and that was 50 years ago. So that brings in the question, like, who really is he? Because how does he look the same, even though that was 50 years ago? So he hasn't aged a lot. So that's to do with a lot of his surname as well, because he's a zombie because of how undead he is. So that's pretty crazy indeed. And we know that this kind of unveils some of the mystery that we about Kraken Joe. So we're learning a bit more about him. And as the fight continues on between Sylph and Homura, Homura has learnt to counter the tornado using her own sword to spin it in the counter direction. And with that, she kind of beats Sylph, and we see this shocked face on Syl's face. And I thought that chapter was quite good because we learn a bit more about Draken Joe, being the villain of this arc, or maybe he's just the villain so far, the villain I'll call him. So it's nice to get a bit of information. In terms of the fight between Homura and Sylph, I'm not really feeling that fight. It's not that exciting for me, I would say, and there's not much going on in terms of like action as well. All I saw was she made a tornado and she span a sword in the counter direction to counter the tornado, and yeah, so not very interesting this fight anyway. So the spotlight in this chapter 92 is Homura's this time, and her special trait is Yamato fashion, which is 5 star, and yeah, so it's nice to see she getting the spotlight. So I'm guessing everyone's getting a bit of a spotlight anyway. And we learned something quite nuanced as well. So Sophie talks about Draken is absorbing her, and she's scared about that. And she seems to have this device wherever she kind of loses control that suppresses her emotions. So that's quite interesting to see. And with that, she regains her composure, and the fight continues, and it's just literally counter spins and spins, and yeah, I mean the wind looks quite amazing to look at anyway in terms of paneling, manga paneling, but in terms of the actual content of the fight, I gotta say it's quite plain and dry. I'm not really feeling this anyway, and with this, it looks like I think Homura wins this fight in this one. Yeah, yeah, she does. And it's quite nice to see that Homura is taking her place as one of the demon star shines. She's accepting her role as one of the shining stars, and she's called herself Valerie. Is it Valkyrie Homura? the Sword of Eden. So she's slowly transitioning into the role of one of the four shining shines, and with that, she deals the finishing blow. And I gotta say, this final panel does look quite amazing, where she's got this Ether sword, and a lot of spiraling wind, and it definitely does look quite cool indeed. And there's also this nice little panel of what do you call it? So I mean, yeah, little panel that she has of her winning anyway. So that was pretty cool. And we then move on to the witch. I forgot her name, but I'll call her the witch anyway. And she looks like she's beat Laguna as well. So we have this final shot of the whole Element Four being completely beaten. Each one of them have a panel. So I'm guessing the Element Fours have now been beaten, and all of the four shining stars have beaten their enemies, and they dance to protect their family. So that's good now. So the only person left is Draken Joe, and this dude just sat in a test tube, like chilling. Hmm. And he comes out of his test tube, and he seems to have known about the Element Four being beaten. So that's quite interesting. So he's very in tune with all that. Yeah, but he's just he's just walking around naked. So a bit of fan service. Yeah, that Hiramashima always delivers fan service every chapter. So I guess this is the fan service for this chapter anyway. And yeah, and as he wakes up and he's just chilling and trying to figure out what's going on, he realizes that the cat leaper has already awakened, and that's the reason why things are happening the way it is. So if Draken knows, then he's obviously going to try change his tactics right here, right now. And we still got the gang just chatting with Sabir about no, just casual conversations. And there's a massive plot twist in the final ends of the chapter. So we're talking about Libya, right? And it turns out this woman isn't even Libya to begin with, and we're just left with this mystery of this spiraling face. And I gotta say, this cliffhanger was pretty amazing because I had no idea who it was, because it just looks like a spiraling face, has a lot of mystery. And yeah, this chapter was quite good because it's the ending of the Element Four versus the Shining Stars. So the what do you call it? I usually call them the starter fights. They're done, and all that's left is the main fight, because I always look forward to the main fights. And yeah, things are moving in place, and the plot is progressing. Draken Joe's awake. He's realized that she's activated the power. So yeah, this was quite a juicy chapter, and I did enjoy the pacing of it. And I'm looking forward to the next one. So when then we move on to chapters 93. In this one, we get the witch regret. Yeah, so she literally called the witch, I guess. Witch regret. I'm just gonna call her the witch, and and this made me chuckle. Her special trait is dog impressions, and her dog impression is a 1 star. Like, why even have that? I don't know. That made me laugh. I thought that was quite funny. So the person who was impersonating Libya was actually the spy from the video game arc anyway. So she's fake Homura, the person that was pretending to be Homura the whole time. So everyone's quite pissed at her anyway. And yeah, so she's on this mission to obviously defeat Draken Joe because the organization wants to beat them, and so that's why she's here in the first place. And so what we want to know, like, why is she uh, posing as Libya? So it turns out Libya is actually here, and what happened is she's kind of switched places with Libya, and Libya is hiding low in somewhere anyway, but she's still on the island, so that's pretty crazy to believe. And the person who finds Libya is actually Homura, and so they don't know that yet. So and the first thing Libya does is she's quite mean anyway to Homer anyway, and once once she tells her that she's Rebecca's friends, her demeanor does change a little bit anyway, and so this woman's power is quite dangerous indeed, because apparently she has the ability to mirror face, which she can also copy people's ability. No, she can't copy people's abilities, but she can gain their memories and their thoughts. So that is definitely dangerous. She can extract a lot of information out of people anyway. So yeah, she can be a dangerous ally or a powerful foe. I mean, wait, no, a powerful foe or a dangerous organization. So I'm guessing she's also going to be foreshadowing her organization, because we'll probably meet them sooner or later. And yeah, and this one panel, the angles of these shots, I gotta say, like the way the perspective of the shots are uh, drawn are quite funny and interesting. I gotta say anyway, and yeah. So she looks like she's going to be helping for now, but you can't trust her too wholeheartedly because she's obviously from a different organization and has a different agenda to everyone else, and she already betrayed them before anyway. And we already see some of her dangerous enemy thing going on. So she learned from Homura's memory that Chiki has a weakness for the word friend, friendship. So she uses that against him, and she has him on her side now. And yeah, so we also learned something new as well about Draken Joe. So the way he becomes youthful is he drains. Wait, is it this? I don't know, but I'll talk about it. So this Draken Joe, he's quite a formidable opponent, and he seems like he's a villain of a villain. So in a sense that everyone on this planet, he drains them of the life force and just so he can become youthful. So it's kind of like a tax for anyone staying on his island life anyway. But so as the group is chatting anyway, Draken Joe actually comes in and he turns the whole floor into tar and everyone's just sinking in. And Draken Joe kind of just his appearance in this room kind of gives Rebecca a bit of PTSD, and she like thinks about the time that she got shot in the head, and she doesn't want the same thing to happen in this. And so Shiki, he actually uses his gravity power to reverse everything. So everyone else goes one way, where him and Draken Joe try to fight it out anyway. So yeah, it's going to be Draken Joe versus Shiki. So that's going to be quite interesting to see anyway. And hopefully it'll go different for Shiki. I mean, it's obviously going to go different for Shiki because he's not going to die because he's the main character. So I mean, the rest of the group get away, and it's kind of ironic because everything's different but the same. Because we're having deja vu moments because they're in the execution site, and this is the last place where he died as well. So that's pretty crazy. And yeah, so we move on to chapter 94, and yeah, that chapter was decent as well. And next one we have Sister Ivory. I didn't know her name was Ivory. I was just calling her Sister the entire time, so I'll probably be referring to her as Sister Ivory. So Ivy anyway. And I think out of all the shining four shining stars, she's definitely my favorite. I like her design quite. I mean, I like her design the most as well. I don't know, just something about her personality is quite nice as well. And her special trait is healing because she's obviously the healer. And so with this, we got a Draken Joe versus Shiki situation going on. And I've something I've noticed is Moskoy, he can actually speak as well. So that's kind of funny as well. And he's, he's you can see that he dislikes fake Libya as well. I forgot her name anyway. So he says you're starting to get on his nerves. So Moscow is always there for a bit of comedy relief anyway. And yeah, he says it again. Actually, you get on my nerves. So he says it twice, but he can definitely speak as well. And so interesting to see. And I do like this little action shot of Shiki squaring up versus Draken Joe, and the close up to the face it does look quite interesting indeed. And as per usual, we learn about Draken Joe's ability to change any material to another. Is it element? I won't call it material to another material. So he changes his hand to iron, and yeah, it's quite interesting to see him utilize his ability. And we can see Draken Joe is definitely confident that he's going to beat his fight because of how much experience he has, more than Shiki anyway. And we see, or as the fight goes on, Draken Joe definitely has the upper hand, and he's utilizing his abilities quite well, and the lightning wall was quite good anyway. So yeah. And Draken Joe has some decent trash talking as well. So you're definitely gonna fall. He says, "Oh, he fell on the ceiling, but you're gonna fall all the way to hell." So I thought that was pretty cool as well. So yeah, as I was talking, Homura is gonna go, I guess, reunite with the rest of the group, and Sylph, she's still crying anyway, and the what do you call it? The little device that suppresses her emotion is broken, so she's crying, and she's talking about absorbing her again. So that's definitely bringing up something anyway. And this panel looks really nice, where they enter Draken Joe's what do you call eternal youth machine? I'll call it anyway. So it's definitely cool. And this is the part where they learn. Oh no, this is the part where Jin Jin comes in, and he seems to be the guardian, but he's different in this one. because that's what do you call it? Rebecca notices he's different because he's wearing this weird suit. So he definitely looks different. And Moscow, he tries to get chummy with Jin because he knows Jin anyway. And but more what do you call it? Jin's not having any of that. He just hit him in anyway. So, but I just gotta say, Moscow is still funny. I don't know, I find him hilarious anyway. And yeah, he seems to have a new catchphrase now. You're starting to get on my nerves. He said that 3 times this chapter. So I got to say the action in this chapter was quite decent indeed. I definitely did enjoy Draken Joe versus Shiki's fight a lot more than the Steining Foreshard, because there's a lot more what do you call it, detail, and the choreography in the fight is definitely better, and it's a bit more thought out, especially with the abilities. And with this, we get Pino's analysis of Hermit Million. So that's her second name. Wow. So apparently her special trait is Sundari, and she got a 4-star Sundari, so that's pretty hilarious. I never seen her as the Sundari type, but I guess she is. She hasn't really displayed any of that. Okay. And okay, so this is the chapter. I kind of think I discussed it a bit too early, but this is the chapter where we learn about how Draken Joe truly becomes youthful, and she, the fake Homura, spills the beans, and she knows quite a lot of information, and the fact that Jin's real name is actually Chris Rutherford. And that's gotta be one of the most like lamest names I've heard. I mean, it's quite plain and to thing. It's very regular, almost too normal to be honest. And she knows that he's the brother that's clean of the Element Four, so she has a lot of information anyway. So, and when she spilled the beans about how Draken Joe gets his energy force, how he's taking the energy force from everyone else on the planet, you know, things definitely do change. And Jin's, I mean, Chris, we're gonna call him Chris from now on. Chris's personal stance on his job anyway, because he's quite an honorable person, so he obviously gonna follow the contractor, whoever pays him, like follow their rules. But this kind of overrides his rules of following the contractor because he cares about his sister more. So it kind of betrays Draken Joe in this moment and decides to ally with them. And something else as well, we see Weiss take that news very differently, and he's obviously being affected by this because he what do you call it, he's been personally affected by this, and he looks pissed and he just rushes off. And we can obviously tell that he's going to go rush off to go fight Draken Show because that. And one thing we do need to know about, who is the person that is a that he lost because of this anyway. So that would be quite interesting to find out in this backstory. Mm. And Rebecca tries to stop him, but it's just, we just leave it for now anyway. So the rest of the gang, what they do now is they need to hack the device and destroy it. I don't know if they want to destroy it, but they want to reverse engineer the system anyway. And the only way they can do that is to destroy that jamming signal. And no one's strong enough to destroy it, but they require Chris's strength, I guess, in this situation. And Sister Ivory is actually on the Comcast with Hermit, and she promises to heal her sister's clean anyway. And if we remember last time, Jin was actually working with the fake Sister Ivory because he thought that she had healing powers, but obviously Ivory does actually have healing powers. So a promise has been made with Jin. So obviously Jin now has a purpose and a compliance. So he now destroys the jamming signal, and with that, the hacking begins. So that's quite interesting to see. And we now go back to Jin versus I mean, what's it called? Shiki versus Draken Joe, and we can definitely see that if you look at the difference, this panel is quite nice. It tells a story anyway of what's happened anyway. So if you look at Draken Joe's panel, you can see that he's not had a scratch on his face. Then you look at Shiki's panel, the comparison is so trash. Like, I mean, there's such a big contrast. Shiki's got scratches, he's bleeding, his clothes are ripped, and he's sweating. There's obviously such a big gap in the difference of power anyway. And yeah, it's quite crazy, and there's a bit of dialogue, but that's just like shown in dialogue. Always talking about friendship and stuff like that. And Shiki unlocks his ether gear, and his ether gear definitely is override. I mean, what do you call it? Rising, and he has the cool little headphone pieces, ears, and but it's almost and Draken Joe comments about how it's one step away from overdrive, so he's kind of close to overdrive, but he's not quite there anyway. So that's quite interesting. And Draken Joe, as he's talking, he obviously goes into his overdrive, and his overdrive design is very interesting indeed. His whole body goes black, and he's got like a white outline, like tribal tattoos looking thing. So one thing I did notice about his overdrive form, he looks a lot like August from fairy tale. So I guess the design looks quite similar indeed, and he looks very menacing. That is for sure. Oh, oh wow, he's got a tail as well, so he looks like a monster. So Overdrive, it seems to have potential to have different character designs, and I want to see what Shiki's Overdrive form will look like eventually when he gets it, because is he gonna have animalistic traits as well? That would be quite cool to see, as a transformation. Anyway, okay, so Weiss jumps in anyway, and he says something like, "You're the one that killed the person who means the most to me." So now it's a 2v1 between Shiki and Weiss versus Draken Joe. But I gotta say, I think they're still at a disadvantage to Draken Joe because he seems so much more powerful than Shiki. So I don't know if Weiss is really gonna have much of an impact in this fight. He's probably gonna just lose, but he's definitely got that friendship rage going on right now. All right, so we're now moving on to chapter not 96, A Young Man's Memories. So this, I've not read this chapter yet, so I'll probably take this a bit more slow. Oh my god, even Moscow got one. So his name is Moscow versus Zero. And okay, wow. And his his stats make me laugh because everything he has is 1 star, and his special trait is mystery button, and that's a 5 star memo. Okay, Moscow. I can't help wanting to imitate Mr. Moscow's catchphrase. He appears to be Miss Sister's minion, as he's always been by her side. He was once brainwashed and controlled by the fake sister, but now he's back to normal. I'm beside myself with curiosity about that tummy in his stomach. I gotta say, even though he's only for comedy relief, he is. I do like Moscow quite a bit, and I do find him quite hilarious. And one day, I hope Hiro Mashima tells us all about the button, what it actually does. I bet it turns into a right badass or something like that. And the first panel, I gotta say, it looks amazing. I gotta appreciate this panel. Like, you got Shiki on the floor, just sat down, and Weiss looking to square up with Draken Joe in his overdrive form, and he just looks so menacing. Oh my goodness, I gotta say, and the his skin is also coming off of him, floating up. It looks like a complete monster. He's mine. It was you. So you can definitely see that Weiss is definitely angry at Draken Joe for the loss of his beloved person. Anyway, fire all you want. I just keep changing your bullets into different matter. Mm. So I've seen this play out quite a few times. This kind of scenario where they hit one of the characters get upset, and he charges in head first, but he's not going to win by himself anyway, and he's doing all of this, but he just seems to be doing no damage. And we get a flashback actually, so 60 years ago on planet Norma, and this planet's terrain looks quite interesting indeed. So it looks like is that cloud pillars as well. All right, so oh, this looks like this might be his mother. Oh, it is his mother. So Weiss's mother's in this hospital. What? You don't have a diagnosis? No. Done every test we can think of, but there's no pathogen anywhere. Then what's making this patient weaker? We've never seen symptoms like this before. The only way to describe it is it's like a life is being drained away. We've been laughed right out of the medical association with a report like that. Doctor, I did some research and I found some past cases with similar symptoms. Okay, so this is kind of like a thing where his mother is ill, and they can't figure out why she's ill because there's no pathogens, and so yeah, it's kind of a mystery. Every one of them was weakened and died of an unknown cause and died. So with this, Weiss does look very sad to him. When I'm gone, I want you to be strong and have a good life. Don't talk like that. They're gonna save you. You've never been good at making friends, so I worry. Stop it, mom. Okay, so this is definitely sad indeed. She's the mother to all of us. Who's this? She's the mother to all of us. She's the mother to. Wait, what is this? You won't be alone. You have another mother in this cosmos. Ah, okay. So Weiss's mom talks about the mother of the cosmos, and she's kind of the main goal of the series, because it's to find her, innit? She's the mother to all of us. She's the mother to you and me and everything in the cosmos. So she's kind of like the godly figure because she's the mother of everything. Okay, interesting. You killed her. And so the flashback is over, and we still see Weiss going quite ballistic. Anyway, I don't even know what you're talking about, but let me let me tell you my motto: I don't kill people. Oh, interesting, interesting indeed. So, what's it called? This part definitely reminds me of the Avengers meme, where it's like you took everything away from me, and Thanos, I don't even know who you are. I don't know. It just kind of reminds you of this kind of exact kind of thing, to be honest. So, well, Draken Joe has a very interesting motto. He doesn't kill people, but didn't he just kill Shiki? So, how does that make sense? Yeah, you only let them live so you can feed off them. Hmm. He put this dude put a bullet through Shiki's head. How is he gonna say that? Okay, so dozens more people than normal died, weakened by an unknown illness, just like my mom. They died because you sucked the life force away. So many people had to suffer for your selfishness, and they're gonna feel their pain. So he's charging up for a punch. Whoa! His fist went big. Yeah, he went third gear on this dude. But you're the one about to feel pain. You're gonna learn how scary I can be. I can convert matter into your body, and your body is covered in it. So imagine what happens when it gets close to me. Weiss, take off your suit. All right. So whoa, and just like that, Draken Joe, he didn't take a single ounce of damage from Weiss. He did all that ballistic rage, but nothing happened. So yeah, it played out exactly like how I thought it would have. And we see Weiss just on the floor, unarmed and not in his suit anymore. I always study up on my enemies, and your background check reminded me you're the kid who stole my money years ago. I cut your arm off. The funny thing is, your arm's still right there. And he's obviously talking about the other Weiss because this Weiss is from a different timeline anyway. So, not he's talking about the old man Weiss, and that's why he still has his arm. It's still attached. And he goes to take his arm, but let's see what happens. So you got that pendant from your mother. I never told anyone about this. So I'm guessing this is Sabir anyway. Sabir and Weiss. Looks like it fetched a pretty penny. Yeah, my mother was an adventurer. She visited all kind of planets when she was young. I guess she found this one on one of those planets. And that creepy power of yours, where'd you get that from? Yeah, I know. He uses that power to make my weapons. I was alone after my mom died. I wanted a friend. So I bought a used robot, and that robot knew all kinds of stuff. Taught me how to use his power. Took 3 years though. So you learned how to modify machines from a machine. Hmm. So that's quite interesting to see, actually. So um, Weiss also has a deep connection with machines, just like Shiki. That's quite interesting to know. And yeah, I want to know who this master is anyway. Yeah. Well, I wasn't too good when I started. The first thing I did was total my teacher. Yeah, the worst. Uh, oh my god! I just realized this is the second flashback we've had in the chapter. Wow, two flashbacks in one chapter. But this is definitely all about Weiss. I'm liking that Weiss is getting all the spotlight. A bit of character development as well. So where's the pendant, Sabir? What are you talking about? Don't play dumb with me. I know you took it, huh? All right. So Weiss has lost his pendant and he thinks Sabir's taken it. All right, you're the only one I told you about, and that means I stole it. You're full of it. Give it back. You know how much it means to me. I have to give it back. Look, we may be a band of thieves, but we don't steal from each other. You pull all kinds of dirty tricks without batting an eye. You need to knock it off with this crap. If you're going to keep accusing your crew without proof, you're not my crew. Oh, damn. So with this, we can definitely see the tensions rise between these two anyway. Get out, give me my pendant back first. Whatever, get rid of this punk. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me, Sabir. I thought we're friends. I don't have any friends. Don't forget this next time. I'm gonna steal something that you care about. Okay. So I guess that's where the beef between Weiss and Sabir started over the pendant. And we don't really know if Sabir stolen his pendant, to be honest, but I doubt he did. Okay, so and then we're back to the present day, and Shiki saves Weiss before his arm gets cut off. You need to calm down. You can't beat this guy by charging in guns blazing. I didn't ask for your help, but a friend gives it away, gives it anyway. Ah, Yes, I love a bit of friendship talk. All right, we can't beat this guy in a straight brawl, but if we work together, I know how we can win. Okay. Let's go, Weiss. Yeah. All right. So Weiss seems to have regained his composure and he's no longer just a raging ball of. He's no longer a ball of rage anymore. And I'm quite interested to see what Shiki's tactic is anyway, because yeah, let's see. Oh, please, friendship is one of the most useless of emotions. And that's quite funny that he says that. It feels like honestly, it feels like Hiramashima is actually just mocking the whole friendship theme nowadays anyway. And yeah, he's using characters like Jack and Joe to kind of portray his emotion. You little brats are going to. Wait, why is this panel? This panel looks weird. Well, I've got to say, this paneling looks really weird. I don't know what this panel is about, but it looks like Draken Joe's hair is covering his eyes and ears. Huh? What happened? And hacking complete, now reversing Draken's energy flow. Whoa. Oh, okay. So we see Draken hit the deck, and it looks like Hermit's done her thing, and she's hacked, and she's reversing the energy of Blackout. Did that battleship do that? I can't see what's going on. My predictions are correct. Draken will be weakened. Master now. Must go, bruh. Draken's ether levels are going down. You did it, Hermit. He's definitely getting weaker, but something doesn't feel right. Oh yeah, that's interesting. So they reversed the energy thing, but I don't get that because Draken's not in the machine. So how is his energy getting taken out of him? Is it a wireless connection or something? So yeah, something doesn't seem right, and it seems like he's mutating, and it might have made things work because he looks massive now. He's turned into a monster. And I gotta say, the final panel does look quite disgusting, like how he looks anyway. But these few chapters have been quite an interesting read indeed, and I'm definitely liking the pacing of the story. I'm loving Eden Zero more and more, and I'm gonna say this is definitely so far, like the story wise, has been a lot better than Fairy Tail in terms of the writing. I just feel like it's been improved. Like Hiromashi has improved his writing quite a bit in this story, and Draken Joe is definitely a good villain. He seems very cynical, sinister, and menacing, and he's a savage. He don't care about nobody. He's willing to take anyone's life force, even his own like subordinates. So yeah, I'm definitely liking Draken Joe as a villain. I want to see what this why did he go ballistic anyway? But I'm not trusting this fake Komura anyway. So who is she? Like what's a real motive? But we'll find out next time. See you guys.